What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. Welcome to the Legacy Podcast. This is a new podcast for us. We're going to be bringing all sorts of different content for you guys. We're going to be talking about real estate, finance, insurance, and all the different things that you need to have success in the United States of America. Maybe other countries too. Who knows? But the point is that today we have a really special guest. I would like to introduce you to a very important client of mine, Wanny, who is a former electrical engineer. She used to work for NASA. She's now an entrepreneur and a real estate investor. So Wanny, welcome to the Legacy Podcast.
Thank you. You're lucky. I love you because I don't do this.
Oh, wow. I feel very special.
Interviews. I don't like pictures, and this is my first.
Listen, we're really, really excited and happy for you to be here. It's really important for us to bring real people to our podcast because it's not just about like what we do, what we say. It's about actually bringing you people here that can give you their own testimony and really talk about how they got started in real estate, kind of like what your goals are, where do you see the future going, and what we can do to really help people out there see this is really possible for everyone.
Yes, it is. Actually, I think that's a good podcast to have, like, because a lot of people think that like owning real estate is so unattainable.
Yeah.
And especially if you like, how'd you start, right? Where'd you go?
Well, that's a question. I got questions for you, okay? Don't ask me questions. I got questions for you. So, Wanny, let's start with the first question. How'd you get started in real estate?
I figured I was an engineer and no one's going to hire me as a designer. So I'm like, you know what? Let me buy my own place so I can design my own space.
Okay.
So, like, how do I go about doing that? I'm a scientist, so I go about by looking at different data. I was in Maryland at the time, and I researched about 3 months on the growth of populations in different cities. So Newark and Philadelphia was the two cities that has the highest growth in terms of population. So I decided I was going to do investment in one of these two cities, and I chose Newark.
Wow.
Because it was dynamic and crazy at the time.
Yeah.
And I bought my first building there and on a handshake, literally.
What? You literally walked up to someone, just shook their hand, like, I'm buying your building, sell it to me now.
I was a professor for like mathematics. So I always liked university settings. Mm-hmm. So I drove by the area that I like. And I passed by NJIT and Rutgers and saw this really odd-shaped building, a brownstone. And I was like, this is mine. Like, it was so dilapidated. I was like, I want this. Mm-hmm. So I contacted my realtor at the time and say, find out who the owner is. I would like to send them a note and talk to them. That's what I did.
Wow.
We found out who the owner is, and I went and talked to him directly. He was not selling the place.
Yeah.
So I just went and say, hey, would you be willing to sell me the place?
So literally, you made a deal.
I did. I was young and stupid and didn't know what no means. So I was like, hey, I want this. So let me ask him.
Guys, this is so important what you're saying, Wanny, because literally right now in the market in 2025, there's not a lot of inventory. And it's hard to find a deal on the market because there's not a lot of people selling houses. But Wanny, back in whenever you bought that property over 10 years ago, in 2005, drove by a property, called her realtor. She said, I want that one. She's like, it's not even listed. And he said, I don't care. Find out who the owner is, and I want to talk to him. And you called him.
I called him.
He came by.
I went to his place of work. He owned a flower shop across the street.
Oh, that's convenient.
So I walked to his place and bought him coffee and say, hey, can we chat about your property? And it was a really old building, mostly empty, and has like garbage everywhere. Like, the building looks really in bad shape. Looks like no one wanted it.
Yeah.
So I figure, you know what? You don't want it. I want it.
Yeah.
So I went and see him. Hey, let me take this building off your hands.
Yeah.
And he was 82 years old at the time. And he's like, okay, go in and take a look. If you still want it afterwards, then come give me a number.
Yeah.
So I went and saw the building and I gave him a number.
That's really, really valuable information, guys. There's no excuse. You could go out there and find property. You just got to call the right people, knock on the right doors.
What's the worst?
Walk into some flower shops with some coffee and maybe they own some property, okay?
Not even that. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You asked.
You got to know.
He said no. Okay. Like,
all right.
What did you lose? 5
Nothing.
minutes of your life.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
so, Wanny, I have another question for you. What was your most profitable deal you ever did?
Probably that 11 unit and the one I got last year, the year before, with a laundromat and 4 units. It was also
Give us some details about it. What made it such a good deal? And did you know up front if it was a good deal? You found out after you bought it.
I absolutely knew it was a good deal because I only offer the deal like when the number makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Don't fall in love with anything, guys.
Yeah.
Totally. If the numbers doesn't work, walk away. Like there's better deals out there.
Right.
Like so the one that I found in 2005, I mean those deals are hard to find. It grew probably like I got it for in the 400 range and now it's about 4 million.
Wow. $4 million. So when you buy the appreciation, right?
It's appreciation, and I put in a lot of work, right? I fixed
Sure.
the building top to bottom.
But that's all you forced appreciation and appreciation over time. So when is the best time to buy real estate, Wanny?
Every day is a good time.
Right now.
Every day is a good day.
Right now is the best time because tomorrow your house is worth $1 more.
Not even that. Like I feel like yes, interest rate is high, but the price is lower to compensate for the high interest rate, right?
Yeah.
So you either pay in interest or pay in cost.
You're gonna pay.
So you're gonna pay either way, right? But find a deal that the number works for you.
What do you think is the biggest headache in real estate?
People.
Oof.
People. If
Can we edit that?
People, right? It's the tenants and it's the finding the right people for the financing. Those are the two biggest obstacles, right?
Yeah.
Getting the right financier and getting the right people into your building.
Yeah.
I would say take your time to find a good tenant. Rather take it a little bit below market value instead of maximize your value on the rental. Get a good tenant.
Those of you that follow me on Facebook know my real estate tenant experiences, but we're not going to get into that in this episode.
It is rough. Like, I mean, if you don't like dealing with people, don't go with multi-units.
Yeah.
If you don't like people, don't buy anything that you have to keep. I personally don't buy anything that I don't want to keep.
Right.
If I buy it, I have intention to keep it.
So you're a long-term hold real estate investor.
I am a long-term investor because I think I like the design aspect of buildings. So every building has a certain character. So I walk in, if I don't like the character, I don't touch it.
So, but your main asset class is mixed use property.
Mixed use and multi-units.
Okay.
So I would buy a commercial like just apartments.
Yeah.
But if a mixed use is minimize the risk.
Yeah.
Because what I do is a business acquisition. So a lot of places I would buy comes with a business.
Yeah.
And then I fix the business and I resell the business and keep the building.
Wow.
So I can get myself a good tenant.
So you're doing like 3 different types of deals in one.
Yes. Usually I minimize my risk by diversifying
Yeah.
my investment.
So you can diversify real estate within real estate. Guys, this is real estate hacking right here, okay?
Really, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Think about it. If you buy a building that has mixed use, that means your tenants are not just a commercial building.
So explain what is mixed use for those that don't know.
Mixed use is having a commercial space and residential space.
What is a commercial space?
Commercial space is like you have a coffee shop, a diner, office space.
Yeah, on the
right?
first floor.
On the first floor.
Okay.
Or second floor sometimes, right?
Yeah.
As well. And then you have apartments.
On top.
On top. So
Okay.
it's a nice balance, right? Because real estate, you're always going to have vacancy.
Yeah.
So like residential, you have vacancy a little bit more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
But commercial, you have a little bit more long-term tenants.
Yeah.
But your vacancy rate is longer.
Yes.
So having 2 types
Oh,
of
I
different tenants,
see. Yeah.
then you will never be holding the bag with an empty
Right.
building.
Right. So you said something very interesting. The fact that a commercial tenant, you keep them for longer. So you can have a commercial tenant, for example, let's say it's a restaurant. They'll sign a 5 or a 10-year lease.
Most of my tenants in the restaurant are about 10 years.
10-year lease. So they have the same, increase in rent every year, right?
Every year?
Every year.
You do a set rate to increase
Increase.
each year.
Yeah.
And then you have them for 10 years and you don't
So
have
let's
to-
say, for example, they'll sign a lease for $2,000 a month for 10 years, but every year it goes up 5%. So the second year is $2,100, and then so on and so forth. And you're guaranteed that tenant,
Yes.
whether the business is doing good or bad.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. They got to pay the rent.
I take 2 months of security deposit. So
Yeah.
if you walk away, I have 2 months.
At least 2 months.
And it's my building. So
Yeah.
whatever fixture that's in there, I have a
It's
tenant
yours.
that comes in as mine.
Guys, that's what I'm buying next. Mixed use property. Can we handshake on a deal right now?
No,
Awesome.
really. I mean, most deals is better. Like, I think that there's so much money out there
Yeah.
to be made. I'm not the type that goes like, oh, I should walk away thinking I'm the one who win. I think everybody should walk away thinking getting what they want.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
win-win.
That's a return relationship, right? If you walk away, leaving someone feel like they just got took advantage of, you're never going to see that person again.
Yeah.
You're never going to have another deal. If you walk away, both say, hey, you got what you wanted, I got what I wanted, and we both win, then you can see each other again next time.
The last question to this very valuable podcast, and thank you again so much for coming here. Where do you see yourself? What's next for you?
I'm taking the year off to see if I want to invest in more charity stuff right now, because I have spent the first 25 years of my life acquiring knowledge and skills.
Yeah.
My second 25 years, I did it for building myself up in financially and everything else with children, right? Now my time's mine. So I'm going to take a year and see where I want to live, what I want to do, probably go back for a PhD. We'll see.
Well, congratulations for all your success, all you've done, and what you still have to do. I mean, you're going to go do charity work now.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I'm going to start a micro lending program for women, single women with children in developing country.
Well, you know what? We would love to be part of that. Empire Financial, okay? Yeah. We love helping people, minorities, all different types of classes. It doesn't matter who you are, what you know, where you come from, you know, what your beliefs are, who you voted for. The point is that we're here to help every single person that is open-minded and wants to be helped.
I mean, we have more in common than differences, right?
Yeah.
We just happen to live in a very divisive time. I take a moment to help each other out. If you could lend a hand, lend a hand. There's no cost to it. With a smile, there's no cost in just say hello. Like, really.
Well, guys, that was a quick little podcast for you guys. Stay tuned for what comes next. Our next interviews, the next people we're going to have on here is going to give us some more fire information, really powerful knowledge they're going to share with you to help you excel, to help you build, to help you become the best version of yourself. Stay tuned for the Legacy Podcast.